Hold the work.
Same kill, yeah.
Go ahead, son.
Yes.
Action.
Nobody knows where we might end up. Nobody knows.
When Shonda first brought up the idea of a musical, and we were all kind of like, I don't know about this. What are we doing? Because it's so outside the box.
Shonda said, by the way, we're doing a musical episode. And there was a period on the end of that sentence. There was no question mark. Wait till you doubt no more. Wait till you know you're sure. And you will wait too long. He will be gone.
In the first season of Grey's, I mean, I think it was, we were making the pilot.
Totally.
I started talking about wanting to do a musical episode of the show, and you know, a million things happened. This season, it started to feel like this was the right season. I'd found the right story. We sort of had everything right, and we had, sort of had all of our musical ducks lined up in a row, and it felt like the right season to do it.
The challenge was really getting everybody in the cast not only comfortable with singing, but comfortable with the idea of doing a musical. And until we knew what the story was, and until we knew how we were going to tell it, and how the music was going to work in there, it was a hard sell.
You know, I went to the network and I said, we want to do a musical episode, and they pretty much said no. So then I felt like the next best thing to do would be to show them how we would do a musical episode. So I went to Chandra Wilson and Sada Ramirez and Kevin McKidd, and I said, can you help me? And together with Tony Phelan, who's one of our writers and executive producers, who also ended up directing the episode, we gathered all the studio network executives in the rehearsal hall on a Saturday morning, and we threw them a concert. We pulled back to find Callie, standing in the street, watching this. Watching herself in the car, watching herself be pulled from the car with the draws of life, watching Arizona. And then she begins to sing softly to herself.
Nobody knows where we might end up. Nobody knows.
And then Callie turns and heads away down the street. And we put on a pretty amazing morning for the executives. And when it was done, it was very clear that there was no way they could say no.
We discussed a lot was what kind of music would we use, and would we be writing songs, and you and Sada actually came up with this idea of using the songs that were most important to Grey's.
It was Sada's idea to use songs that we, you know, she said, why don't we sing the songs that Grey's has made famous?
It was really exciting, the prospect of kind of taking these songs that the fans love, taking these songs that the fans so deeply connect with Grey's Anatomy and the characters and the scenes in which they were used, and then being interpreted by characters, you know. I just thought that would be really, really neat.
She said that everything sort of crystallized for me. I knew exactly which songs we were going to use. I knew exactly what order we were going to use them in. I knew how it was all going to work.
Calm down and get straight. It's definitely a challenge, even though a musical. It's a challenge to make the songs feel real for the character.
What we're doing is not just singing and dancing down the hallways and, you know, that kind of stuff. This is really different, and this is really moving, and it's emotional, and it's intense, and it's, I mean, it's great.
Turn me inside out and upside down.
You're cool with where it's going?
I'm cool with where it's going, yeah. We were obviously looking for a music director, and we knew that we needed somebody who was going to be able to do orchestrations for these songs, who was comfortable working with actors and non-singers. And Chris had worked on the Scrubs musical, and so we brought Chris in for an interview and knew in the first 2 minutes that he was the person to do it.
Here we go.
There you go.
Yo. Calm down and get straight.
These people are actors, and they know how to tell a story and deliver something. And what I found that they had that I couldn't even have coached them into or produced them into was a cool quality in their voice.
Okay.
Okay.
There were some wonderful surprises. It was
this
amazing.
Great moment, too, where I was in my office, and our offices are right across the hall from each other, and she started squealing, like just screeching, and I went running into her office, and she's like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, you got to hear this. And it was Justin Chambers.
Yeah, it was very
and
exciting.
waving our arms, because it was amazing. He was like, he's really good.
I do so little that it wasn't even enough to feel strange. It was just kind of fun and silly, and I get to do it with the young actress that's on our show, Rachel Taylor, and she made it much more comfortable and easy to be silly in front of.
I basically said, look, I'll do the best I can do, and I said, I'll let you guys determine whether or not you want to use it. And it was sort of like throwing a grenade into a room full of people and ducking.
Eric Dane, who always joked and sort of sang in kind of a fake, sort of cheesy voice at rehearsals, but he was sort of trying to goad me into getting him to sing. When he sat down with the vocal coach, he has a lovely voice.
What's just incredible is that so many people have kind of come out of the woodworks, people who've never really sung before in public, and, you know, like Kyler Lee has a song that's, she sings a bunch in the episode, actually, and she's got an absolutely incredible singing voice.
What girl hasn't stood in front of the mirror before lip-syncing to some epic song that's on the radio or whatever it is, you know? So it's kind of like a childhood dream, I mean, really.
Even though musical theater is my home and stage is my home, I still feel so like it just unnerves me. So I'm just a sweaty mess right now. Wait till you doubt no more. Wait till you know you're sure. And you will wait too long. He will be gone.
Yeah, we got it.
Shonda really wanted us to have tracks to be able to be played at our table read, and they knocked it out in three and a half days, I think it was. They got 10 songs basically done, and we were able to present them at the table read.
You know, one, everybody didn't know the whole story of this show, which was interesting. Some of the actors had never read the script before. Some had, some hadn't. And two, I was just nervous about how it was all going to come together and how they were going to receive it. Because frankly, you know, I'd written it for... You know, it's my dream to do a musical episode, but I'd written it and I wanted them to be proud of it and excited too. So I really, for the first time in years, was like shaking at a table read.
A word about reading this. It's all timed out. So what that means is the music is going to be going on as we're doing dialogue. So talk fast. And basically keep your attention up so that you can jump in.
We're all going, oh my God, that's what's happening, as they were trying to listen to the music, as they were trying to keep up with everything.
But then what was incredible was by the time we got to How to Save a Life,
they'd gotten it.
They'd gotten it.
They were in it.
They were totally in it. They had the pace right. And it was a testament to how good they are, but also just how excited everybody was getting.
It's not that simple.
It is.
We were all so invigorated by music and coming in with our lines and figuring out the story or hearing the story for the first time, which was phenomenal. And I think after almost every single musical number, there was massive applause.
This is my baby.
You're not being rational.
You never wanted it. You never asked for it. So why the hell are you...
No. You know what I didn't ask for? I didn't ask for you, Mark. Because you know what you are? You're basically a sperm donor. I mean, this is me, and this is Callie, and we're together. So I say...
No, you don't get a say. I am the father. You're not anything. You're nothing.
And Act 3.
I had chills the whole way through that table read. It was ridiculous.
It was really, really exciting. I felt like you were a part of something that was really special.
There was unabashed weeping, I think, at the end, because, like, you saved the baby, you saved Callie, and there was unabashed weeping. It was
Happy
really
ending.
Nice. It was really happy ending. It was good.
Thank you so much. You don't even know. I'm so happy.
Jessica is going to come around and push her out of the way.
The difference between prepping the musical episode and our other episodes was the amount of prep that we took on it. Normally we take 7 days from a production standpoint. With the musical, it was more like 3 months.
All right, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right, here we go.
Because it was so complicated with the singing and the heavy medical and having so many of the actors, matter of fact, all of the actors in so many of the scenes, we actually did do a full rehearsal day.
There it is. Star 70 and rising. You know, when you're doing a scene without music, the dialogue can have a different ambience to it and a different rhythm to it. But when you're tied to music, like we were on the musical episode. You know, everything, every sort of implement that's handed over, or every, you know, procedure that is done needs to happen at exactly the same beats.
Dr. Altman, stabilize the heart and step back.
So that perhaps on the day we would have a greater sense of, you know, expediency, which I think for the most part occurred.
I'm going up through the groin. No, I said I've got this.
Weaken your sister.
Dr. Altman, stabilize the heart and step back.
No, I can do this. I just need to. Damn it.
Dr. Altman. Dr. Altman. Step away. One of the things that was going to make our musical feel like Grey's Anatomy was that the music was going to be embedded in the action of the storytelling, which meant that we were going to be singing and speaking at the same time.
What's her life going to be like if she's dead?
Oh, God, it's not that simple.
It is. I don't like it. It's horrible, but it is that simple. We can have another baby.
For
we can't
the
have another
dawn, my
Oh, for
dear.
God's
Wait
sakes, get
till
over
the
it.
sun
It
gets
is, Mark. It is a big deal.
It's difficult because you've got these earwigs, you get to listen to the playback on the earwigs and sync to that and lip sync to that and still do medical stuff.
This wasn't my theater experience just cut and pasted onto this experience. It was completely new. I've never lip synced to my own voice. I've never had one of those earpieces in my ear before. I've certainly never lip synced in front of a camera.
Tony's been a writer on Grey's Anatomy since season 2. He and his wife Joan are a writing team. And, you know, he's been here forever. We've known him forever. And the one thing that you know, if you know Tony, is that he's a big musical theater, ice dancing, theater geek.
Ice dance.
In the best way possible.
The fact that Tony and Shonda collaborated on creating a musical episode for Grey's Anatomy and introducing a whole new format was really exciting to me, and I think a lot of people were scared and nervous, and for all the obvious reasons, oh, we're going to be compared to this show, that show. You know, not everybody's going to like everything, and sometimes you got to just let that go and trust that the people that you're working with are really looking out for the bigger picture.
1, 2, 3.
And making sure that you stay within the Grey's Anatomy style.
Tony is just very passionate. Like when he tells a story, when he's on set, when he would come by, when he would be the writer, you could just tell he just so believed in what he was doing.
That was good. We're just going to go. The fact that if you're the director, you're literally taking the entire show, putting it on your back, and trudging up the hill. And you've got to be the person who brings everybody up with you. And ideally, brings everybody up with you with a positive attitude and to have fun. And the fact that everybody did that, that's the best creative environment to work in.
We are just about halfway through shooting the musical episode, which is probably the greatest episode I've ever gotten to cut. It's so much fun.
Susan Vale is one of the editors on the show. Susan has been with the show since the pilot.
Everyone's bringing their best game, and it's just been fantastic. Normally, storytelling on Grey's Anatomy is pretty straightforward. We try to be very poetic, but it's linear narrative. This episode is going to have a flashback. It's going to have people singing that Callie actually believes is happening. So I'm trying to be conscious as I go through every scene of really making sure it's anchored in Callie and in her perspective.
She has a great sense of the way to use cutting to move the story along and evoke the emotion and show you not only what you have to see, but what you weren't expecting to see. We knew there was going to be a lot of visual effects. So we had very early meetings with Scott Ramsey from Stargate.
Tony wanted the camera moving all the time, and he wanted a lot of more dramatic shots, a lot of close-up shots where Hurt Callie and Singing Callie are in the same space at the same time, which really kind of gave us a big challenge on that. One way of doing it was take an extra and put her into the bed. And then from there, we just took one of the faces that we had of Callie that we shot and mapped it onto her. So we basically created a little 3D map on her face and then applied the face onto it. And then from there, she was able to touch the extra's face, and then we were able to make it all come together.
It's been a gift on so many levels for me, so I am eternally grateful.
It never ceases to amaze me at how much it can accomplish in 1 hour of television.
It's really epic. It's really epic. I'm really proud of it.
Everybody just came together on this, cast, crew, production, everybody. It really has required a lot of patience and a lot of, understanding and just kind of surrendering to what the process requires of everyone.
People were really moved, not only by what they'd all achieved, but by the story and by the singing and the quality of what we'd put together as a group. It was just very special.
And that's how we do the musical episode of Grey's Anatomy.